All right, let's get a move on then and focus in on Mumbai-based SaaS platform Mintoak, which has currently raised about $20 million in a Series A fund round. That was led by PayPal Ventures with participation as well from British International Investment. Raman Khanduja is the co-founder and CEO at Mintoak and now joins us on the show. Thanks so much for taking time out. So I understand that you're planning to use this deployed capital to raise and ramp up rather your tech stack and double down on your existing product portfolio. Walk us through the details.
So we've raised a round of $20 million led by PayPal Ventures with participation from British International Investments, and then our existing investors, HDFC Bank plus Pravega, and a few other institutional clients. The idea is, as you said, to beef up, utilize this money to beef up the tech talent, tech and engineering talent, ramp up the product portfolio, and expansion beyond India because what we essentially are, we are a merchant app that allows merchants to accept payments, and on the same app, we deliver financial services. And we work largely with banks. We white label this proposition for banks. In India, we have some of the largest banks as our clients. And as you would know, India today is the reference point or the benchmark for anything and everything digital payments. There are about 50 plus countries globally that are trying to replicate the India payment story through open banking, APIs, smartphones, and real time payments. And the product that we built for India is now resonating with clients outside India as well. So, a big part of the focus going forward would be geo expansion beyond India.
Right now, Raman, how are you also looking at increasing your penetration and presence in India as well as expanding into newer markets like the Middle East, Africa, as well as Southeast Asia?
So, as I said, most of these markets, they are somewhere behind India, some close to what India is doing. So if you look at some countries in Africa, they have exactly replicated the models that we have: UPI, QR, real-time payments, and the markets in the Middle East, which are slightly more behind, but catching up. For us, taking the product that is built to India for a bank in Africa, it's just about lift and shift. We are a cloud native platform, API first platform with the microservices architecture. So taking the platform for bank A in India to bank B in Africa is just about changing the skin, adding possibly a language. For example, in Middle East, we have added Arabic as a language. In Africa, we would possibly need to add French or Portuguese, but that's pretty much about it. Not too much of customization, and it's like a plug and play for the bank partners.
Now, when it comes to the tie-up with HDFC Bank as well, just walk us through the details. There's also the omni-channel payments and commerce enablement platform, that's Smart Hub Vyapar for HDFC Bank. How does that work?
Sure. So HDFC was our first client. Their merchant payments app, which, as you rightly said, Smart Hub Vyapar, is powered by Minto. The app allows merchants to accept all forms of payments from cards to UPI and provides merchants with value added services that help them do their business better. For example, customer feedback or reaching out to customers. And as shopkeepers use it, we seamlessly, along with the bank, open up access to financial services like loans, credit cards, and deposits. So for the merchant, the biggest challenge has been one, capital, and second is bandwidth. We allow shopkeepers to access all these services, starting with payments to digital tools to financial services on a single app. We currently have more than 1.5 million merchants on the platform that are utilizing these services.
Now, you had mentioned in the past that, growing competition and a struggle for relevance is one of the key challenges for the company. So how are you, crossing some of these hurdles?
So, India, the opportunity is massive. It's possibly the largest cash displacement opportunity globally. So, competition will be there. The reality is, for us, we have always believed SME financial inclusion is a function of two things: tech and trust. Tech, a lot of players can build. Trust takes time, and it's very difficult to emulate the trust that banks have built. Unfortunately, banks are challenged when it comes to delivering tech, and as banking becomes more tech, that challenge aggravates. The other side is there are a lot of companies that have built tech but are lacking trust. What we are trying to do is we have built a nimble tech platform and we distribute through banks that are lacking tech. So we complement banks' trust with nimble tech and making eventually the SME the winner or the merchant the winner. They get uh, the most nimble, competitive tech proposition delivered by a partner they can trust, which is the bank. So that's how, I mean, competition is there, but when it comes to relevance, banks continue to be equal, if not more relevant than they were 10 years ago. And we are leveraging bank partnerships to reach out to these merchants, which helps us circumvent or be competitive or relevant in the space, market space.
Right. So, just if we were to take it in terms of your numbers, Raman, how many merchants are you serving currently? And it's four banks in India as well as the Middle East in total that you are tied up with?
Okay, so the platform currently has more than 1.5 million merchants. In India, we have partnerships with three banks: HDFC Bank, SBI, and Yes Bank. We are very close to signing up one more large bank. Outside of India, we are present in Kuwait, where we work with Burgan Bank. And outside India and Middle East, we are already there in Africa, where we've partnered with ABSA. ABSA is the third largest bank in Africa, with presence in more than 10 countries.
Given that India's fintech market is expected to reach $1 trillion by 2030, how do you at Mintoak plan to capitalize on that, and what's the long-term growth prospect for the industry as a whole?
See, fintech is an ocean, and fintech means multiple things to multiple people. For us, fintech has always meant leveraging technology to deliver financial services. We continue to believe banks are today in best their best position to deliver financial services, especially when it comes to SMEs, largely financial inclusion. The only challenge with SMEs has been while banks were able to manufacture products, delivering to SMEs, given their needs are very micro, needed a more tech approach, self-service approach, which we have been able to deliver through our app, and that will continue to be our focus. I mean, basically enabling banks to solve for the SMEs, and that's how we are looking at the larger opportunity for us. There are, if you look at the market, there are about 65 million SMEs. I mean, I'm talking about shopkeepers that have some kind of a license, and most of them have current accounts. So they're already banking with the banks that are our clients. So that's the opportunity size of the opportunity for us.
So just walk us through the details in terms of how the platform has integrated with cloud technology and what that really has enabled the platform to do.
See, cloud has been one of the biggest enablers of the for the India startup system. Um, Earlier, starting up used to be a mammoth task, given that you had to upfront invest in data centers. All that is gone. Cloud allows you to not only pay per use, but more important, the elastic scaling. I mean, you don't have to worry about um, specific size of your data center, because as your business grows, uh, the cloud scales up. So you don't have to worry about, which is the reason um, the speed to market is that much better as compared to some years ago. More importantly, for us, hosting stuff on the cloud, we can create multi-tenancies and multi-tenancy and allow multiple banks to use the same platform.
And finally, you've gone on record to say that it's no longer fintech versus bank. Now there's going to be fintech with bank. Can you elaborate?
I continue to be the biggest proponent. See, the thing is, when it comes to financial inclusion, uh, India, given our geographic and cultural diversity, you have to use tech to create access. There is no two thoughts about it. But at the same time, while tech is solving for access, we have to understand India is a, and for that matter, most part of the emerging markets have a high trust deficit. Especially for financial products, people want products from partners they can trust. And in that space, as I said, banks have unparalleled trust. They lack technology, which is what fintechs like us complement with. And end of the day, it's the SME who is the winner. They get the best of both worlds. Nimble competitive tech delivered by a partner that they trust more than anybody else. So I continue to be a big proponent of this bank fintech collaboration. It's no longer competing or disrupting, but I think collaboration is the way to solve for financial inclusion.